Hey everyone! Welcome back. I am back today with more of the Promised Neverland, you guys. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. We are in pretty deep right now with everything that's going on. So if you're joining me early today, you already know what that means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so much, and as always, I'm sending up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in that description down below. So, well, guys, I feel like we kind of keep getting deeper and deeper into this story about what's really going on with Norman. And, like, the more we get into it, like, the worse it is, you know? So we learned last time, you know, he has really got it out for the demons, like his new friends, and very understandably so. They've been through some awful things. I totally get it. On the other hand, I do feel that, you know, Emma's seen too much to be able to go through with that so blindly, you know what I mean? Like, of course, you know, Emma's just so loving and empathetic and feeling, and I have to stop and wonder if maybe not having that influence, particularly when he was clearly going through so many horrible things, when they experimented on him, has really affected Norman. So we know that he's aware of Mujika. Emma cuts a deal to go and find Sanju and Mujika in exchange for please don't go through with the plan to, have all the demons degenerate and basically kill each other. So Norman lied, and he's like, nah, I'm really going to go through with the plan. They have, like, a big old demon that they have, like, in their creepy dungeon that they're presumably, like, experimenting on to see if all this is gonna work. Like, how else would you know it was gonna work, you know? It actually makes a lot of sense. Like, how else would you know? He says it with a lot of certainty that, like, oh, this is gonna make demons degenerate, and this is what's gonna happen when that happens. And Norman doesn't talk out his butt, you know what I mean? Like, if he said that, of course he would have the evidence to back it up. So it actually makes a lot of sense that they have a demon held captive for scientific purposes. If you want to put a slightly less horrible label on it. But I've been calling it from the start, like, something more is going on with Norman. He said they just gave him tests and everything, but, you know, we saw Barbara, like, break down with a seizure and everything throughout the episode. And at the end, of course, we see Norman starting to, like, seize up and cough blood. And we know that, I don't know all the details, but we know that for the other kids, they were talking about, you know, like, hey, we don't have much time left, the ones who were experimenting on. So I'm guessing the same holds for Norman. And I'll tell you what, I think it is low to bring Norman all the way back and then put me through losing him again. Only this time, I feel like there's going to be a real clash between him and Emma before that. Like, it's not going to be a nice, like, not that his first goodbye was nice, it was heartbreaking, but we kind of knew where we all stood, you know what I mean? Something tells me it's going to be a lot more complex this time. And complexity was already a thing on this show, but they're really taking it to a new level here. So, that's where we left everything. I'm personally scared and excited to see what's going to happen and how this is all going to go. So what do you say we go ahead and get started on the next episode of Promised Neverland? Let's go. Wow. I don't know why I expected maybe them to be able to stop what was going to happen, but there's no stopping it now. It's out there. It's already happening. Could they possibly stop the spread? Perhaps. He said it would take over the other towns pretty quickly. Holy cow. All right, first let's talk about the flashback, because honestly, there's no nice easy answer here. There were horrible things that those kids were put through because of demons, and also because of humans, but ultimately because of the farms. You know, you could argue, were the humans doing it under some kind of duress? Although I'll tell you, Peter looked pretty into his new position, I guess, as like leader, father, like he said he was going to like control all the farms or something. Why does the name Ratry sound so familiar? I feel like we've heard that before. I feel like that's something that someone's going to be like, oh yeah, it was this. And I'll be like, oh my God, how'd I forget that? So Norman did it. He took matters into his own hands and went alone, like he always does, trying to make sure that they would have a future. And also just because I really totally get how they must have just built up some real fear and hatred of the demons from everything that they went through. It's weird to think that the farms would ever be a better option, but God, the farms, at least, like, while they were there, they were not tortured. They were in pretty good shape when they were being kept at the farm. Also, Norman's like a super genius, and I guess it's like the first time that's ever happened. I don't know exactly what made him sick, because I assumed he was lying about the tests and everything, that they really did experiments on him, but it did look like they only had him doing like puzzles and tests, but they were giving him pills, and I'm wondering, were they giving him pills to like enhance his intelligence? It didn't sound that way. It sounded like they were just measuring the intelligence that was already there, but they were giving him pills for something, maybe to, I have no clue, keep him docile. I don't know. Didn't work, because he managed to put together a plan to get out. When he said that earlier in the season that there were other followers of William Minerva and they were dead now, it looked like one of them gave him the pen. I mean, did they die in the explosion? Because that would kind of mean that he caused it. He caused the explosion to get out of there. But I just feel like at this point, too, like, he's just willing to do any means necessary to do what he thinks needs to be done. And his plan was to just, I for some reason, I kind of thought they would get back and then he would do it. But it makes way, way, way more sense that he would do it while they were gone, so that, A, they couldn't talk him out of it, because clearly he started having some doubts, and B, so that, they didn't have to have a front row seat, I'm guessing. But what are the odds that guy's granddaughter would be named Emma? That's crazy, because when he met our Emma, he was like, that's a really nice name. That was like a Martha moment right there. I was like, what are the odds? And it just stopped him in his tracks. They had a Martha moment. If you know the reference, then you know. If you don't, then I won't explain it, because I don't want to spoil anything. But it's not an anime reference. It's another fandom reference. But you probably know. It's a pretty big meme out there, I think. Wow, guys. I feel like Norman started to doubt himself a little bit right there, and that tells me that he's not as far gone as he could be. He did find his resolve eventually, but wow, thank God they got back there so fast. I guess maybe Sanju and Mujika had like a shortcut or something, because I assumed they were like way, way, way out in the middle of nowhere, and like on foot it would have taken them like like at least hours to get there. But maybe this was like was this supposed to be, it looked like it just happened, and he was like, this was like the first 5 minutes of it, but maybe that's not how the timing worked. Maybe we were seeing like 2 hours into the spread of it. All right. Well, Norman has played God or devil, or however you want to look at it, and it's done now. I don't know if there's any way to stop it, but I think if there is, I think Emma needs to save as many innocent people as she can, but I also feel like she wants to save Norman here. You know, with that line, I'm not going to let you do it alone again. She's not going to let him go down. She's not going to let him, like, make a choice that sacrifices himself to protect others. Whether it's choosing to get shipped, which was what happened before, or whether it's right now, like, sacrificing his humanity. Which is a kind of an odd choice of words because, you know, humans, I mean, maybe, sacrificing his morals, I guess, maybe, if you want to put it that way instead. Although I'll tell you, the grandpa, he seemed like not surprised at all that this had happened. I'm guessing he's one of the ones that drank Mujika's blood. And because he had that ability, and thank God he was able to pass to his granddaughter, but, so was that his real granddaughter then? Because do they inherit the ability, or maybe not? Maybe it's not something they pass on. He was just really, really, really old, and maybe he was like one of the first ones, I don't know, to ever drink her blood. I assumed like they had passed it on for generations, but maybe not necessarily. You know what, guys? I'm not a phlebotomist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how this works. And furthermore, these are fictional creatures, so even if I was, wouldn't help. But, wow. Yeah, he didn't seem surprised. Which tells me that he at least, I don't know if how much he was in on, because we know the higher-ups are the ones that made the decision in the first place to, like, try and kill Mujika because of she would have power over kind of the trade of meat and everything in that case. But he at least has lived long enough to have a lot of wisdom about the situation, it seems. He doesn't seem to, that would kind of imply maybe that he saw the error of their ways, making the humans into meat, you know? Possibly. I'm reading a lot into it. But the fact that he, like, wasn't surprised that they'd revolt, you know? Like, if I'm gonna look at a bunch of chickens and be like, they're gonna get back at me one day, I have to at least own a little bit that, like, eating chickens is wrong for me. I need to be vegan, guys. Oh, I need to get on that vegan lifestyle right away. This show's making me feel real guilty. All right, guys. Wow, to say I enjoyed that would be weird. And I feel like I've said that about every episode of Promised Neverland, like, to date. But I got a lot out of it. I'm very invested. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. Please be sure to join me next time, and we will watch it together. Bye for now, guys.